last thing I'm going to talk about, it's anti-pain.
Oh, there we go.
And the reason being is when there's a weakness in a muscle or opposing it, that's when pain tends to happen. So you'll get like a lot of people who sit in desk and they're like all curved, right?
Yeah.
And they're like set forward and they're like, my neck hurts. Well, there's a weakness in your muscles. So therefore your chest is overtaking.
Right.
And then you're creating pain in the neck, or your sciatica is happening. A lot of pain is just weakness.
A lot of it is just weakness, right? The other day, this brings up a good point. So I was scrolling Instagram and I was paying attention to, athlete necks.
Oh, that dude's very, very loud.
Jeff Cavalieri, yeah. And he had this video where he was doing neck training, right? So he had like a plate on his head and he was kind of like hanging off of a bench where like the neck was unsupported. And he was kind of doing like a neck curl, right? Like pulling forward and flexing through. And somebody in the comments was like, is this a good idea to do when like most people are already in that like very flexed position, right? Like, is this a good idea to like encourage that like more flexion through, right? To where you're pulling yourself farther and farther forward. And it was a good point, and it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, this is a great exercise. It depends on what you need, right? Like maybe you do more extension, right? Like you could do the same thing, but maybe more an extensive.
Or you could work that curl and work more the eccentric portion of it.
Right. The lowering portion, right? Or maybe coming up into a neutral position and holding there, right? Instead of going through the full flexion of it. And there's a lot of things to it, right? But that's another way of just saying that like it's anti-pain, right? Like if you have neck issues, you can fix it with strength training, right? If you have back issues, you can fix it with strength training. The same client that I was talking about earlier, he was telling me that he sometimes has like sort of like I guess you could say like a burning sensation sort of like underneath the scapula on the right side. And he was like, in the past, it would really, really bother me. And it was only during like activities of daily living, and stuff like that. And he was like, but as I've started training and stuff, I notice that I don't like think about it as much, or it's not as prominent anymore, or it takes a lot longer for it to happen. And I was like, there you go, man. And it's just like, it's just going to be processed, right?